we are going to be doing our shocks on this. So front and rear shocks, which is going to be on both sides. It's loosening your top lug nut, and then we're going to jack it up, and right underneath we have our 2 bolts right there. Those come off and the shock will slide right out of the spring, or the coil I should say, and then we go around to the back side and the same thing. We've got the 2 bolts right there, and then when you go up top, we've got this one right here. So again, it's going to require us to check up both ends as we do it. I'm just going to do one by one. So let's go ahead and start with our top bolt up here. So if we were going to be taking this off and putting the same if we were going to be taking this off and keeping the same shock on there, we would be using a key and a wrench, and we'd be taking it off so we didn't spin this thing and ruin everything, but we are not. We're not keeping it, so it comes off. And we're almost there. All right. There's the bolts we'll be removing today. Now let's go ahead and take this guy, and we'll get the first one like this. So as you can see, it's a little bit on there, so we're going to hit it with the breaker bar, then try again. Alright. And second one off, and with that all off from the top, it should just slide out like that. And now let's get the new one put in. Here's my new one. It's a little bit different than the last one we had in. It still works. Basically, just slides right up in there. Goes up like so. We're gonna get it through the top hole at the tippy top. And then when it's up there like that, we're gonna go ahead and get all the rest of the mounting gear on and the bolts in. So we made sure that we put this pin in this rubber mount on the bottom side, and then once we get it through the top, we do one flipped upside down this way, one flipped this way, this in the middle. Did that, took the 2 old bolts, got that started. Now we're just going to go ahead and bolt it all down and do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll pick back up when we get to the rear shocks. Helpful tip: as we put this top one on, I use this pliers here to latch down on it in case this all starts to spin, and then if it spins, then I use those to hold down while I tighten the bolt. That way, like I said earlier, we don't ruin any of the things inside of there. And with that, we should be good. Test it out. You know, I don't think we want to make these too tight, but let's move on. Sometimes doing the rear shocks, they don't give you your shocks wrapped up to make them compressed and easy to put on. Sometimes you have to do it yourself, so I just took a vice grip, pushed it together, and then put some duct tape to hold it together. That way it's not fully extended, otherwise you're never going to get this thing put on. So I did it this way, that way we could try to get it on, and then cut the tape and let it extend slowly, hopefully, and then we can get it put on the other side on the bolt. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys how to get this off, get these put on. And for this, same on both sides. We've got the nut right here, and then again, as I showed you before, we have the nut on the other side right down there. We're going to remove both of those and pry the thing off a little bit. Should come right off. Sorry, I had a brain freeze for there. But the wheel does make it easier if you want to take the wheel off. You don't necessarily need to. You're able to get underneath the car pretty easily either way. So let's go ahead and get these bolts off. Sometimes you need to get a pry bar or long screwdriver to kind of wedge in between here and there and just kind of pry that loose, because once these been on for a while, they get stuck, they get hardened up and a little difficult. So let's go ahead and get that all pulled apart, get these taken off. Just the two bolts should be very easy. So we have the old one and the new one. New one, again, I said we duct taped a little bit because it's hard to get these things compressed. And so basically, we're going to do it to where the open side faces down. And I'm obviously going to need two hands for this, so we're going to get it put up inside here and get the bolts ready. Make sure the back plate washers are on. And as we do that, we'll get that stuff attached, slide this on, remove the tape as we need to, but if it's not compressed enough, it's just over far enough to where we can push it probably just enough over. And then I'm using some grease just to put inside the bushings just a little bit, just to help slide it on. And let's go ahead and get this put on. So with these on, we're going to go ahead and have these facing inward. Sorry, get a better angle with that light at the end of the driveway is kind of killing it. So again, that faces inward. Try to get this lined up right. The bolt wants to fight me going in for some reason. Alright, let's try this bolt then. There we go. And get that one started. Next is going to be up here. Let's get this put on here. Oh, Jesus. It's going to be kind of a bad angle. That same way. Facing inward towards the bushing. It's hard to do with one hand. And we're in. And we're just going to tighten these down. I want to make sure all my duct tape is off of here and we're all cleaned up. And that's how you do your rear shocks. And with that, we are done. So if you guys like this video, comment, share it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep doing stuff.